It's really old news to some people by now, but the Internal Revenue Service targeting conservative and Christian organizations is still pretty fresh on the minds of many who have been the targets or perhaps still being targeted. And my friend, Dr. Pat Castle, is the co-founder of the Life Runners organization.
That's right.
And you had a little experience with the Internal Revenue Service.
We sure did.
Tell our viewers about it.
So in March of last year, March 2012, we submitted our 501c3 application. And we thought, with good reason, that we would have that accomplished by the time our big fall marathon event in St. Louis came around.
Now, how many months would that be?
So we're talking, that's a good 8 months.
Oh, but do you know who you're dealing with here?
I hear you.
8 months, I mean...
Right, and the research said that on average, these were being assessed, evaluated, and approved in 6 to 9 months. So we thought, okay, we've got a shot at it.
Did you say 69 months?
Right, that's more like that
Okay.
in hindsight. But 6 to 9 months, and lo and behold, that fall event, an opportunity for growing our ministry through those tax-deductible contributions at our big event. 252 runners in St. Louis out of the 20,000. We were the largest team ever for a rock and roll series marathon. We did not have our 501c3. So we thought,
Now, just before you go into that, in case someone listening isn't familiar with what the Life Runners organization is, what is your mission?
our mission is to pray for pro-life, is to raise awareness for pro-life by the way of our jerseys that say "Remember the Unborn" on the back, and to fundraise for pregnancy resource centers. So this delayed 501c3 had a cost. So the first cost was it wasn't done by fall, but okay, we're still within the range. We didn't sweat it too much, just thought, bummer. Well, that bummer came to January when our second national event
Real
in
bummer.
DC came a second bummer, and we still didn't have it for our inaugural March for Life 5K, where there were 650,000 pro-lifers gathered. That we couldn't say, yeah, one of the litmus for an organization is if you are a nonprofit, 501c3, tax exempt. We weren't yet. And then the third bummer came in February to March when we did our relay across the country, which came right through South Dakota. It started the Golden Gate Bridge, started on the Brooklyn Bridge, and ended in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We still didn't have it.
And
come
now
Palm
you're at
Sunday.
12 months.
May 14th, we finally got it approved. That date, May 14th, might ring a bell, Gordon. That's the same day that the Inspector General gave their report that, wow, there were pro-life and conservative groups being targeted. Coincidence? I think not, that the date stamp on ours was the same date that the IG Inspector General released their report.
I love when you were chosen for additional scrutiny, the questions that they asked.
The questions.
Tell our viewers the kind of question they asked this pro-life organization.
So finally, we heard from in April. So here we are 11 months into this. We get a letter and it says, you need to give us more information. You know what information they wanted? They want us to provide what alternatives the Life Runners give to pro-life. The alternative pro-life is death. Where they want us to hand them maps to Planned Parenthood for an abortion, or
a phone number,
a
taxi service.
Come on. So needless to say, we didn't answer that question. It was a question that didn't need an answer. Instead, we had to hire a lawyer, which cost us, again, $2,600 to have someone that specialized in IRS responses to be able to essentially say, the National Life Runners team, they meet the requirements of the 501c3, and they don't have to answer that question.
Well, isn't it interesting that
it cost us.
That it cost you?
It did.
You not only had to hire an attorney to compel them to take action, and took over, was it over a year?
It took us 13 to 14 months, that's right. And it cost lives, of course, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put that in terms of those mothers that we could have impacted from making the worst, decision of their life, and the lives. This was real cost.
Pat, the Faith and Family Foundation is still waiting. We've been chosen for additional scrutiny. So it's still going on. Yeah. What you experienced with the Life Runners is a dilemma that organizations that are Christ-centered,
Yeah.
that are conservative-based, are still experiencing. But the news, it's old news, so nobody's covering it anymore.
But here's the good news. We're going to keep going, we're going to tell our stories, and we're going to help make sure that other organizations do not have to deal with the cost that some of us had to endure.
Good job. Thanks for watching us.